What is the area of the roof in this house drawing? We can see that the roof here at the top is a triangle. So that means we are looking for the area of this triangle. So now we have to think about what is the formula that helps us work out the area of a triangle. The area of a triangle is half of the base times the vertical height. And the vertical height is really important because often we're given the sloping height and we don't want the sloping height, we want the vertical height. I'll come back to that bit in a second. First of all, we want to work out half of the base of this red triangle. But we don't know the length of that base yet. If we look at the yellow shape, at the bottom, the base of it, we can see that that's 15 centimetres. So that means that the base of this red triangle must also be 15 centimetres. Let me show you. There's that blue line. If we raise that blue line, you can see that the base of the red triangle is also 15 centimetres. So that means that we can start using that number. The area of this triangle is half of the base, so half of 15 times the vertical height. So let's work out the vertical height. How are we going to do that? Well, since we know that the entire shape, the height of the entire shape is 40 centimetres, we know that just the yellow bit here on the left-hand side is 32 centimetres. So what do we add to 32 that will give us 40? So we get just the red part. So we know that 32 plus 8 is 40. Just that bit there. And another way of doing that is saying 40 minus the 32 will give us 8. So that is the calculation that we need to perform. So the area equals half of 15, and half of 15 is 7.5 times 8. So let's work this bit out. So we know that 7 times 8 is 56, and to that we have to add 0.5 times 8. So 0.5 times 8, well, what does that mean? When you're multiplying by 0.5, it just means you have to half the number. And half of 8 is 4. So the area of the roof here, the red part, is 60 centimetres squared. And that's how you do that question. In this question, we have to find the area of the hexagon. So how are you going to go about doing that? It tells you that this hexagon is made up of 6 identical triangles. That means 6 triangles that are exactly the same. So what would be a useful approach to find the total area since you have 6 triangles? So your formula is going to be the same. The area of a triangle is half of the base times the vertical height. So let's just look at one of these triangles. Here we go. So we know the base of this triangle because it's been given to us here at the bottom. It's 17 centimetres. Half of the base times the vertical height. Now, often when I ask this question and I say, what's the height of this triangle? I get the answer 24. But can you think why that's not the right answer? That's not the height of one triangle. 24 is the answer to the height of 2 triangles. 1, 2. So what's the height of one triangle? If 2 are 24, 24 divided by 2, it's going to be 12 centimetres. So that's the height of your triangle. So your formula, taking it a step further, would be half of 17, which is 8.5, and you multiply that by 12. And that's how you would do that question. Now, what if you didn't half the 17 and you did 17 times 12? What would you get the answer to? You would get the answer to the entire shape. You might say square. It's not actually a square. Even though it looks like a square, it's not drawn to scale because you've got 17 centimetres and 12 centimetres, and a square would have equal edges. All four edges, all four sides would be equal. So it's not a square. So here you would have to do half of 17 and then multiply that by 12, and you half it because if you didn't, you would get the area of the entire shape. And that's how you do that question. That's something you can finish off on your own. The third question that we're going to look at today, it's question number 14. It says work out the difference in area between the two sails on this ship. Now looking at these two sails, you can see that they are the shape of a triangle. You already know the formula for working out the area of a triangle. It's half the base times the vertical height. So you will be able to work out the area for both of these triangles, the sails. So here, you know what half of 20 is. You're going to multiply that by the vertical height. You know what half of 16 is. You're going to multiply that by 22. By the way, a good way of multiplying 8 by 22. Think about what 20 times 8 is. You know what 20 times 8 is. Then you have to do 2 times 8. You know what 2 times 8 is. And then you add those two numbers together. What do you do with those two bits of information when you've got the area of the big triangle and the area of the small triangle? In the question it says, work out the difference. So what does that mean you have to do? Out of the 4 operations, adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, which is the one that applies here? Well, since you have the word difference, finding the difference here would mean that you would need to subtract. So find the area of the big sail, the small sail, using the formula area equals half the base times the vertical height, and then just subtract them. And that's how you do this question.